All right, welcome back for another episode of Chasing Ghosts. This is the video series where I talk about those hard to find, those impossible to find comics, those things you just really have to work at, hunt, do research, and track down, things you're not seeing up on the wall at your LCS or at most shows most of the time. These are going to be some tough books that are just low print, rare, hard to find, sometimes expensive, but not always, just tough books out there. Hopefully you enjoyed this series as well as everything else here on the channel. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Please like, subscribe, hit the alert button so you don't miss anything. Keep telling your friends so we can keep growing the channel. We're trying to make our push for 2,000 subs, so hopefully we can get there so we can do another big giveaway. I do have a small giveaway going on right now where I'm giving away that original sketch piece by Astro Wizard. Make sure you check out the channel for more details on how to enter that free giveaway if you want a shot again at this book. So it's very easy to do. So just go check out the channel and figure out what you got to do. And with that all said, if you want to see what potential ghosts we have this week, just hang on for a few seconds and I'll be right back after the intro. All right, so we are going to start off with another hodgepodge collection of books, and we're going to kick it off really quickly with Spidey. Yes, this is that 12-issue series that kind of went back into Spider-Man back in high school, kind of retelling some old classic tales, I guess, some untold tales of Spider-Man when he was still back in high school. So they went with Spidey, and they had some ratio variants for these first three issues. And the first one, I'm going to show it to you, which is what I have up on the screen here, but we're not actually going to cover this one because this one, there's a bunch of these out there. So without getting too far into it, this one's only a 1 in 20. It's a Umberto Ramos cover, December 2015. Just to kind of give you quick details on it, 65,000 print run on that first issue. So there's over 3,000 copies of this 1 in 20 potentially out there. So we're not going to cover that one. That one would just be hard to find, if that. You can find copies out there for under ratio or around ratio pretty easily. So we're going to skip issue 1, even though I want to show you the cover because it is a nice cover. I do like it. But we're going to jump to issue 2, which is an Oliver Coipel. I don't know how to say his name properly, but this is another incentive variant for issue 2 of the Spidey series. This is a 1 in 25. Came out in January of 2016. So the ratio incentive went up a little bit, while the print run went pretty far down. It basically got cut in half to about 33,000 on the print run for issue 2, which would make the incentive a little bit more at a 1,300 thereabouts, 1,343 by my little quick math estimate. Again, not concrete numbers; these are estimated numbers. The best I could do using some information we have out there online, like Comic-Con and whatnot, and then just doing that quick little incentive ratio math. But if you want to check the census on this particular issue, issue 2, there are not a lot. There are only 4 total in the CGC census, with 298, a 96, and then an 85 randomly in there. I don't know, but that's a signature series, so it's a signed one. That's the only SS in there, so four copies. If you want to see what this thing sells for, this is not that expensive. Copy sold on May 15th, which was just yesterday, for $1.99 with one bid. $2. That's half a cover price for a 1 in 25 at auction. Another auction way back in March, $5 on 5 bids. Very, very cheap prices on this book. I get it. There's 1,300 copies, but there's no reason this should sell this cheaply. So I keep saying it. If you're a seller, do not put these things up at auction. You will not make out. Look at these prices at auction. Just be patient, list these, buy it now. But if you're a buyer, if you see an auction, especially there's something starting this low, throw a bid out. You never know. Don't just watch it. Throw a bid down because you could win with one bid for $2 on something like this just yesterday. That said, moving on, what's listed for sale on this thing? Are they that cheap if you want to go buy one? There are copies, because again, there's 1,300 copies. I'm going to give you just a few examples. No, they're not $5 or $2 cheap, but they're still 14, 15, 18 all under ratio, basically for this one. And there are a few more, but I'm just giving you some examples of some raw prices. So definitely not a pricey book, but one, like I said, if you see it out there and you see it for cheap, I like it. I like the cover, honestly. But hey, it's not one of those ones that's well highly sought after yet, or people are knocking down doors to go and spend hundreds of dollars on it. But things can change pretty quickly. That said, that's issue 2. Now, issue 3, I do like quite a bit. I've covered this, I think, on the artist retrospective for Tedesco. This is a Tedesco cover here. There's something about it. It's got like this pretty cool little kind of a Rockwell-esque like little vibe kind of going there. Also a 1 in 25, February 2016 for this one. Print run on this is down again, but only down to 28,000 thereabouts. So the incentive is down to maybe about 1,100. Still a decent amount of copies, though, at 1,100 potentials. In the census, still not a lot. Only 6 copies with 4 9/8, a 9/6, and a 9/4. So still not a heavily sub book. So even though there are well over 1,000 copies, not a lot of submissions on this Spidey number 3. I dig it. Like I said, I did actually order one of these, and one is on the way. That's it. Sold recently. That's not the copy I bought, but this is one that sold recently, $25 back in April. And what's actually listed for sale? Well, out there right now, there's only one, and it wants a healthy $99. Yeah, so it's quite a difference from issue 2. Print runs are pretty close. Estimated, even the incentive, 13 to 1,100 is not too far off. The price differential is quite large, but I think it's mostly about this cover, which again is a pretty cool cover. I like it. I dig it. Next up, that's my quick little Spidey jaunt there to go with that Spidey series from 2016, and we're gonna move over to All New Invaders. We're gonna stick with Marvel for a little bit, and we're gonna go over to All New Invaders. This cover here's the Cassidy cover, John Cassidy. This is the 1 in 50. See, pretty cool color. You got the Cap, you got Namor, you got Winter Soldier, Human Torch there. But this is the 1 in 50, but we're not going to talk about the 1 in 50 because there's a higher ratio, which is the 1 in 100, which is the sketch version. Again, I know I'm not a big sketch fan, but this is the higher ratio. So why bother looking into the numbers for the 1 in 50 when we can just look into the numbers for the 1 in 100 for our purposes here today? Obviously, keep an eye out for the 1 in 50 if you're interested, but the 1 in 100 also January 2014. 1 in 100 incentive ratio, estimated print run of about 55,000. So that's going to make our incentive variant here about 550. So that's not too many, 551. Not a lot of copies to this one. If you're talking about the 1 in 50, it'd be double that. So a little, about 1,100. In the census for this particular book, there are only 8 with 2 9/8s, 3 9/6s, and 3 9/4s. Still very low CGC census numbers on these books that I'm looking at so far today. Just not subbing these books. It's not because they don't exist. It's just I guess people just don't want to get these ones graded for one reason or another. Perhaps it's because this doesn't sell all that well. Look at these recent sale prices: $27 at the end of April, March 6th, $4.79. $4.79 for a 1 in 100 at auction with one bid. Telling you, got to watch these auctions. Some of these books can go super cheap, and then $30 back in February with a buy it now. Granted, that also had $20 shipping from the UK, so that's more of a $50 purchase. So that's half a ratio. But come on, $4.79. No reason that book should sell that cheap. But hey, if you find it that cheap, that's the kind of stuff I love buying. For high incentive ratios for a very low amount of money. Only copy I could find though out right now is $30 in the UK. So again, this is going to be about $56 after shipping to get it to you in the US. If you're a US viewer, obviously. If in the UK, maybe you can get this, for much cheaper shipping because it's going to be right closer to home for you. That said, still $30 on this one for a buy it now, which still well under ratio for this 1 in 100. Again, only has like 550 copies. I don't know. I get it. Not a lot of people are looking at this book right now, but perhaps things change if we do get some sort of invader's tale of some kind. I mean, we keep hearing rumors of Namor showing up. Namor's going to show up. Do we ever get any callbacks to a time before? Maybe when he might have worked with some of these classic characters. Maybe we see some Cap stories as a form of a flashback. I don't know. It's potentials, things that they could do down the line to bring Chris Evans back. Basically, without bringing him back, they could bring him back. You see what I'm saying? Not saying anything that's going to happen, just saying it's possible. Again, that's issue 1. Now, there were some other 1 in 50s for the next couple of issues, so we're gonna look at those. Issue 2, uh, pretty cool cover there with the whole, Invaders team, more of a recent, like, squad. This is also, like I said, a 1 in 50. I think this is Salvador Larroca. Uh, February 2014 on that one. Estimated print run only about 32,000 thereabouts, so it's only about 645 potential copies of this 1 in 50. In the census, also, again, low sub numbers, 398, 196. What's out on the market for this? Well, or I mean, what's sold recently? Again, $2, 650. 650 with 3 bids, $2 with 5 bids. There were 5 bids to get to $2, or did the person who bid just put multiple bids, like, you know what, just in case, let me go up to $5. No, you know what, let me go up to 7. You know what, I'm just gonna go up to 10. And then he ended up winning for $2 anyway, or she, I should say, back in March. Still $2 and 650 for this 1 in 50. Once again, this is the kind of stuff that I love buying when I stumble across it and you find these really cheap auctions. You take a shot. Take a shot at an auction because you might get a book like this for very cheap. And if you want to look at what the available copies are to compare them, it means not much more. For the most part, $17 or $20 for this 1 in 50, or there is one listed for 190. So somebody bought one for $2 at auction, or you can buy one outright for 190. Your call. Pay attention. Keep an eye out for those auctions. You might be able to scoop a book for pretty cheap. That's issue 2. Let's jump on over to issue 3. Jerome Opeña. I kind of like this one. I might even have this one. I might even have these two. I'm not even positive because, again, this is the kind of weird stuff I'll buy for cheap and then put it in a box and forget that I have it because I put no money into it. But this is also a 1 in 50, March of 2014. About 27,000 copies on the estimated print run. So our incentive is only going to be about 546. Still low numbers on these things when you do the math, potentially. And only 2 copies in the census, 198, 196. So there it is. And Jerome Opeña, I know we haven't seen a lot of lately, not since 7 to Eternity, I guess. But look at these. And I think these are from the same seller. You can see that background, the way that the pictures are taken. As far as the last issue goes. Also auctions, 4 bids, 650, 1 bid, 399. These are like cover price purchases for a 1 in 50. Craziness. Available copies, however, are there's a copy for $30 or there's a copy for $250. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows what people will pay? The market's crazy these days. So once that $30 copy's gone, who knows? Maybe the next person does, shell out $250. I'm not saying anybody should do that. I'm not recommending anybody do that. All I'm doing is showing you what's out there and showing you what people have paid previously. So I'd be patient probably and wait for some of those auctions to pop back up. Maybe you can get lucky, but I don't know. It's gonna be a shot. Maybe it happens. Maybe it doesn't. But whatever the case, keep an eye out for them because, like I said, these are pretty cool books, and I think they're pretty cool covers. Now, the next one we're going to hit is a very popular book these days. Everybody loves Throg, right? And this is the Throg book everybody wants. Lockjaw and the Pet Avengers Unleashed, number 4. It's a cool cover. I get it. It's Scotty Young. This came out in June of 2010. It's a 1 in 15 incentive, which is not a very high ratio, but guess what? This is not a very heavily printed book. So when we're talking about an estimated print run of this Lockjaw book of only 6,000 copies, there's only 411 potential copies of this 1 in 15 incentive out there. That's a very small number when you factor everything in. And like I said, it's pretty cool. I'd like to have it, but I am not paying the prices this thing is, which we're going to get to in a second. But in the census, there are 6, or only 6, 398s, looks like a 94, and 2 90s. So still not a lot in the census for this. And what does this thing sell for? Like I said, a lot. One sold in April for $850 raw. $850 raw. And then back in February, $900 ask. They actually accepted $550. That's a heavy discount, but still $550. $850 for this book. That's insane to me. I just no way I could pay that kind of money for this type of book. But it's cool. It's definitely cool. God bless you if you do. Maybe it speaks to you in a way that it doesn't speak to me, but that's just a lot of money for this. But if you find one, hey, you might be able to make out pretty well. Because the only one on the market right now is listed there for $589, and it's got 13 watchers. So there's people keeping an eye on it. Like I said, people know this book. People are aware of this book, and they're keeping an eye on it. But $5.89 is still too rich for my blood. And even though they accept the best offer, they probably would not accept what I would be willing to throw down on something like this. But hey, it is what it is. But everybody focuses in on this book, but you really should also be mindful of the rest of this series, because while the covers aren't as cool as this Throg cover, they're just as hard to find, if not harder to find, because there's issue 1, issue 2, and issue 3. I don't really care for issue 3 all that much. Even issue 1 with the totem pole is kind of okay, it's decent, but I do like issue 2, which has them all playing poker. I don't know, there's something kind of fun about that, so that's why I'm going to kind of quick focus in on issue 2. And I'm not giving you census numbers on any of these things because I don't even know if there are any in the census, but issue 2 was sold recently for $100 back in March, and that's the only sale. There's no sales for issue 1. There are no sales for issue 3. The only sale of these 3 was that one, issue 2, that sold back in March. And if you want to look for issue 1, 2, or 3, any of these incentives, there are none of any of these other ones available right now. So this entire series right now, only issue 4, there's one copy out there. Tough to find books. Now, we're going to hop over to DC real quick and talk about an underappreciated character. This is Topher's favorite character, I think, Larfleeze, the Orange Lantern. I think he's fun. I wish we could have gotten to this in the Green Lantern movies. I wish we could have gotten more Green Lantern movies. Wish we could have gotten a good Green Lantern movie and a series of more Green Lantern movies, because I did really like the Jeff Johns runs on that title. I did really like them, and I hoped for more, but we got what we got. But Larfleeze here, this Christmas special, this is an incentive, I believe, from everything I can gather. It's not clear, but it looks like it's a 1 in 10 on this Larfleeze Christmas special that came out in December of 2010. Print run was a decent 39,000, so there are potentially 3,900 copies of this out there. So they're a decent amount when you factor all that in. But this book, even the regular book, do all right if you can find them in a box. The Larfleeze Christmas special. Only 4 in the census, 298s, 296s. Recent sales, so you can see what I'm talking about as far as pricing goes. Sets of the regular and the incentive, $40, $40, $60 for the incentive alone. So not too bad for a 1 in 10 that has potentially 4,000 copies out there. And then the copies available right now are $50, $72, or $190. So copies aren't as cheap as they've recently sold for, but that's what you got. If you want this book, that's what you're going to have to shell out. Now, Larfleeze also had a 12-issue series, I think, of his own over at DC, and the first 3 issues all had 1 in 25 incentives. I'm only going to look at the 3rd issue because I don't want to just beat a dead horse with these. I don't like these sketch covers, these pencil sketch covers personally. I think it's just not my favorite incentive, but I'm going to jump all the way to issue 3. Again, like I said, there was 1 for issue 1, there was 1 for issue 2, 1 for issue 3. These 1 in 25s. We're just going to look at number 3 just to give you an idea. I mean, keep an eye out for the other 2 as well. But 1 in 25, August of 2013. Print run about 22,000. So the incentive is maybe 878 copies for this issue 3. The other ones might be a little bit more. But this is one of those books that nobody thinks about. But if you see these black and white sketch covers from the DC era, just grab them because they're usually incentive ratios. There's only 1 in the census for this one, and it's a 9.6. And none have sold recently. So out of what's sold recently, we've got a big goose egg. And there is a single copy available right now, and it's only looking for $18 and $15 shipping out of the UK. So it's priced under ratio, but once you got to pay for shipping, it's going to cost you a little bit more. But just something to keep in mind. I did grab these for cheap at one time too. So I do have them in a box somewhere. And like I said, I buy incentive ratios for cheap whenever I can. And they're buried. I got to go dig them out. But this is the kind of stuff I have not come across them again. So I don't know. Sometimes you find them out in the wild. You buy them for cheap. Stick them in a box. Otherwise, if you want to go hunt these things online, like I said, you got to be patient sometimes. There's no sense in shelling out all the big bucks because as you've seen with some of these oddball things, they can go for extremely cheap if you're patient and wait for like an auction. Now, the next book I was lucky enough to find out of a dollar box out of a local shop near me. And I love it. It's not an ear mint. It's not a 9.8, copy. It's got a little ding on it, but it's my copy. And I dig it. This is the Jughead number 9 variant. This is the introduction of the modern Sabrina into the Archie comics, the modern Archie comics. This is the retailer summit incentive and the retailer summit version. But there is the regular version, which also does pretty well, which is this colored with the green background. So if you find this one also does, a decent amount of money too, like 50, $50 to $70, I think, are asking prices for this one. So if you can find it, it's pretty cool Audrey Mock cover. Grab it if you can. But the one I'm talking about here again is the 2015 Diamond Retailer Summit that was in Baltimore back in September of 2015. So since it's a retailer summit thing, I don't know what the print run is. I'm just gonna have to put it as question marks because I don't know how many copies they might have made of this. But it was out of Baltimore at that retailer summit, which was where it was available. How many copies are we talking about in the census? Well, we only got 5 in the census with 398s and 296s. As you've seen, all of these books I've talked about today have all had under 10 copies in the census so far. So, what does this thing sell for? Well, recent sales have been none. There have been no sales recently for me to share with you on this particular book. And if you want to buy one, well, there's only one out there right now, and it wants a healthy $155 thereabouts out of Canada. So, you also got to pay a little extra for shipping. But not a cheap book, but I still kind of dig it. I get it. Chilling Adventures of Sabrina is no longer on Netflix. Was a pretty fun show. I liked it. I enjoyed it. It had 4 seasons. I think it ran its course. And I think she showed up on the Archie show on the CW. I don't watch that, but I don't know. It was a good little run for Little Miss Sabrina. Maybe we see this again. I mean, we are getting new Chilling Adventures comics, but not many. Not many. Few and far between, but still an interesting character. And like I said, I still really like this cover. And I do have one in a box here somewhere. Now, next up is a book that I had, and I stupidly sold it because I didn't know I would want it later. And that book is Mega Man Master Mix #1, which you can see is an obvious Uncanny X-Men 141 homage cover. That's why I bought it. It's a 1 in 10. And I thought, you know what? I got to get it. It's an $8 cover, $8 off the bat. So it's not a cheap buy. It's a really thick book, almost like a quarterly anthology kind of thing. Out of the Udon was the publisher. I should have kept it, but I think I sold it for like 50 or 80 bucks. I don't know. I sold it for a decent amount of money, but I really wish I wouldn't have because I want it now and I don't have one. Like I said, it's a 1 in 10 incentive. This came out in January 2018, so not that long ago. Estimated print run is only about 5,333 copies. So the incentive on this is only about 533 copies of the 1 in 10. Going to be tough for me to track another one down, especially at a price that I'm going to be willing to pay. But what's in the census for this? It's again, like I said, it's a thick book. There are only 2. There's a 9.8 and a 9.2. A copy sold back in what was this, March? Best offer on 95 bucks. So I don't know. I don't know if I want to go up that high, but it might have to if another one comes my way. But right now, if you want to buy one like me, there are none to be found on the interwebs right now, or I should say eBay. They'll probably be out there buried in those little secret hiding places, but I don't know. None available on eBay, at least right now, for this 1 in 10 Master Mix homage variant. This was an interesting series. There's only 4 issues of this Master Mix title, and issues 1, 2, and 3 all had 1 in 10s. So I'm going to show you issues 2 and 3 as well. None for issue 4, unfortunately. And I do like these too. They're fun homage covers. Issue 2 was a throwback to Mega Man 2, the video game box. I think that's kind of a fun little thing. I love a good video game box cover when done right and done properly. So I like this one. That said, 1 in 10. This one came out in April of 2018, so it was a couple of months apart on these. Like I said, it wasn't like a month-to-month thing. They were like a thick, almost like an anthology quarterly type deal. 1 in 10 incentive. Print run went down, though. It was down to about 3,500 copies, so there's only 359 potential copies of issue 2 of the incentive out there. I can't remember if I bought this one or not. I don't think I did, or if I did, I sold it stupidly as well. But I'm on the lookout to get it again. Incentive on this, 3 copies with 198 and 296s. So definitely not a lot in the census and not a lot on the market because none have sold in the last 3 months on this particular book. And if you want to go and buy one, well, good luck. There are none of those out there as well. So it's going to be a tough one. Another tough one to find. As is number 3. And number 3 is another homage cover. It's this poster for Rock and Rule, this animated movie here. Fun. I mean, you can see it's pretty clear homage. I dig it. It's kind of fun. This is also a 1 in 10. This was August of 2018. So again, a few months after the last one. Print run went down just a tiny bit more, so down to 3,200 potential copies and 324 potential incentive copies. So definitely not a lot. These are going to be hard to find. And this particular one has actually no copies in the census, so nobody has submitted one of these to CGC to get graded. So there are none in the census. And just like the last one, no idea what the market is because none have sold in the last couple of months. And if you want to go get one, just like me, there are none out there. So this is going to be a toughie. I really like these Master Mix ones. I know Mega Man, I talked about it on the Hidden Gems a little bit yesterday on yesterday's show. So this is kind of still more stuff. There's still more Mega Man books to talk about, but I'll leave it here. Just these three Master Mix books, which are, yeah, they're going to be tough. They're going to be tough ones. So that said, that's all I got for you this week. Let's take a look at what we have to kind of sum things up. And with that, these four had multiple copies, at least 2 copies. So we're going to call these 4 hard to find, which is going to leave us with a healthy amount of books that either have 1 or none, like the Master Mixes, all have none. But look at all these books. There's only 1 copy or no copies of most of these out there. So I feel pretty comfortable in calling, at least for today, based on today's market, I'll call these ones ghosts this week because these are not going to be easy books for you to find because there's either 1 or none on the market at this point. So good luck. Good luck if you're out there hunting for these books. If you have them, tag me on Instagram. I'd love to see which ones you guys got. Like I said, some of these are tough. I got a couple of them. I got a couple this week, and I do have that Spidey on the way. At Spidey 3, which I'm looking forward to that Tedesco. But those were my ghosts for this week. Thanks for stopping by and checking this out. Hopefully you enjoyed that and still enjoyed this series as well as everything else here on the channel. Let me know what you think in the comments. Make suggestions of some books that you want me to cover. I'm happy to do it and add it to the list of books that I have still to do. And like I said, tag me. I'd love to, if you got any of the books that I have shown in the last couple of weeks, tag me. I would love to see it. I love seeing people's collections and seeing their pickups and just those tough books that they have. And with that all said, hopefully you're still enjoying the channel, and we got lots more coming your way. I'm not running out of material or books to cover. I still got plenty to do. So hopefully you're still having fun and are along for the ride, and get some more friends to join us and move on to some bigger and better things. And with that, I will see you guys later.